Beatty was part of a group that was pepper sprayed last weekend at a George Floyd protest in Columbus. Our Washington Bureau reporter Taylor Popielarz spoke at length with the Congresswoman earlier today about her experience and her perspective as a black leader on this tense moment in our country.
Congresswoman Beatty, thanks so much for the time. I know it's been a hectic few days. I wanted to first start off by asking you, I feel like you've been living in two very unique worlds at the same time recently. You are a sitting member of Congress. You are one of Ohio's two black members of Congress. You're the vice chair of the Congressional Black Caucus. But then at the same time, you went home last weekend. You went to downtown Columbus to participate in a protest, and you ended up, like so many other Americans are in recent days, getting pepper sprayed. So how are you processing all of what's happening while existing in those universes simultaneously?
Well, first of all, let me just say thank you, and you're exactly right. I ask myself that question all the time, not just with this occurrence, but I am all of those things. But I'm also a black woman. I'm also someone who cares about our children, our community, the economy. I've been a businesswoman for many years. I've been an educator. And so last week I went as all of those things. I was excited to go to a peaceful protest and stand with those who were out there protesting because of what we had witnessed over the last few days with George Floyd, what we saw with Ahmaud Arbery, what we saw with Breonna Taylor, and we can go all the way back to Emmett Till. So for me, it was standing there with individuals, all walks of life were out there. And I stood with the most radical to a person that identified themselves as a physician. But we were out there because of the anger, the frustration, but more importantly, wanting to be heard and to bring about change. And unfortunately, as it goes, this is not new. History repeated itself again. I left feeling like what John Lewis must have felt like, or Martin Luther King protesting for peace, and it only takes 1 second for something to go wrong. And maybe that wrong happened for a reason. Maybe people being over aggressive on both sides will bring us together, because we must change protocols. And maybe I was there at that moment to be the person that would help us have the dialogue. And while I'm very honored and proud, I'm also very sad and angry, because I was really out there as a person who happened to be a U.S. Congressperson. So think if something could happen to me, what would happen to a person who didn't carry all of those other, although well-earned titles. So it makes me do these interviews, not for me because I'm a member of Congress, but that hopefully it will send a message to everyone. We have a right to protest, and we will continue to protest, but we have to have different protocols. Now, I don't condone tearing up a city, because that's counter to everything that I've been fighting for over the last week. Getting more money into our communities for state and local government so we can have SNAP funds, so we can have health care money, so we can have community hospitals, because of the disparities with African Americans dying disproportionately. Small businesses not being able to get in the queue and get a loan. So that is the frustration and anger I bring to every interview, not pointing fingers and yet pointing fingers, because we're all in